Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's class. You're welcome. How was your day? Hope you had a good day in school, at work, wherever you were, whatever you did. Hope your day went well. Okay, so we'll be starting. If you're here, let me know you're here. You can type in, yes, I'm here, so I can see you. And let me know where you're joining from. Who is here? Type into the chat. Let me see who is here. You're all welcome. I would like to know where you're watching from, so please let me know where you're watching from. If you're here, type into the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. And did you join the class last week? Were you here last week? Let me know if you were here last week. Who was here last week? Okay, from Abuja. Okay, Abuja, Amaka, welcome. So what did you take away from last week's class? Do you remember what we did? Was there any key thing for you, from last week's class? You can write it in the chat. Let me know. It's a class. So if you were here last week, I would like to hear from you. I see Nathaniel from Aberdeen. You're welcome. Lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining. Okay. So Amaka, you were here last week. Very good. Was there anything in particular that struck you from the class or you took away? Hello, Gifts. I see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, everyone. Okay. So, Nathaniel is from Aberdeen. Yes. So, one of the key takeaways from last week, I was trying to make the point that um, if those who are succeeding in maybe keeping on top of their weight, or you see them really living active healthy lifestyle, it's simply because there's something they know that you don't know. And it's the same in every field of life. There may be something I don't know that the plumber who has come to fix my plumbing knows. Yeah, so knowledge makes the difference. Okay, it's information that makes the difference. And okay, I can see Debbie. Debbie's from Aberdeen. Welcome, Debbie. Nice to have you here. Yes, yeah, Nathaniel, you're from Aberdeen. Good. Okay, so information is key. Okay, if there's an area of your life you're struggling with, it's simply because you don't have enough information about that particular area of your life. Information is key. So Amaka, you were here last week and you said you now eat your veggies before the carbohydrates for better digestion. Good. You listened well in the class. That's good. Welcome. And thank you for writing that. Okay, so I often feel compelled to do these live classes simply because, I see people in the clinic, but we often just have 10 minutes to talk. And 10 minutes is not enough to talk about the things that are bothering people, the real issues of life. People come to see me, they're worried about their weight, they're worried about their blood pressure, someone has had a stroke, or this person has cancer. And so I don't, there's not enough time to take them through what is required. So I feel compelled to do these classes to talk about these important health issues. Okay. So today I think we should look at our goals and our why. What is your why? What is your why for wanting to be healthy? What is your why for wanting to manage your weight? What is your why for doing that extra about your health? My why is that I want to be in good health. I want to live till I'm 100 and more, but in good health. I want to live long in good health. That's the key thing. I have to be in good health to live long. And I want to see my children's children. I want to see my grandchildren. I want to be able to run around with them and not feel breathless. Maybe you're here and you just take a few steps, you're feeling breathless, or you've been told you have this diagnosis or the other. So you're afraid, you're worried you might not even live to see your children get married and have, we're not even talking about grandchildren. What is your why? Because it's that why that will keep you going, that will help you to make the changes you should make. Okay. So I want to travel the world. I want to enjoy this life. God said he has given us, he has come that we'll have life and have it more abundantly. So I want that abundance of life. What is your why? What is your strong reason? Okay, feel free to write into the chat. What is the reason why you really want to work on your health? Okay, and how badly do you want it? Do you want it bad enough that you will be ready to make the changes? A lot of my patients, there are patients that I've been saying to them for years to stop smoking. As in, when I look back in the records in 2011, 2012, they were smoking. I said, stop smoking. Please stop. This is why you should stop. Now they're coming back. They're having the cancers now, the cancers of the lungs. You understand? Now they are ready to make changes, but we don't have to wait for nasty things to happen before we make changes. Okay, so um I want us to just have a look at a few things. And one of the good things you've done is to be here in the class. Hopefully you pick something that will help your health. Okay, one of the greatest things you can do for your health is to keep on top of your weight. I can't emphasize that enough. Obesity contributes to two-thirds of all illnesses. Whatever the illness is, obesity makes it worse or contributes to it. Okay. So a lot of the illnesses we see, the diabetes, the cancer, and so on, it's just due to obesity. So if we can tackle that one, every other thing falls in line. I promise you. Okay. And someone says, Gift, I want to live a long and happy life. And I know health is key for that. Exactly. Exactly. You want to be in good health, live a long life. Okay. So we keep hammering on obesity because loved ones are dying from it. People are slumping and dying. People are having diabetes, it's damaging their kidneys. They're going into kidney failure, all that. So we keep talking about it. So please don't feel that we're always talking, manage your weight. What it's because it's the root cause of a lot of illnesses. Okay. So how can we manage? How can we maintain the right weight? We have to understand that what we eat has an impact on our bodies. Okay. You cannot be talking about living long if you're not mindful about what you put into your mouth. Very important. Okay. So we want to maintain our weight, but we don't want to starve doing it. Starving is not good at all because if you say you want to lose weight and you decide to starve, are you going to be able to maintain it? Will you keep starving to keep on top of your weight? So starving is not practical. It's not something you can sustain. You can't sustain it. Okay, so we're looking for methods that you can sustain that can help you. And that starts with demolishing our cravings. Cravings. You know, that craving for something, you just want to eat something. That craving is what is really holding a lot of people. And craving is what makes it so difficult for us to keep to our good intentions. We all have good intentions. We started 2025. I'm going to eat healthy. I'm going to exercise. But what happens when the cravings come? You know, cravings, they're like a lion in your tummy. Your tummy is rumbling. You really want that thing. You want that meat pie. That thing you really want. You want it. What do you do when the craving is so strong? It's difficult to resist. So we have to start with the craving. We have to demolish the craving, and I'll show you how you can do it. Okay. So craving, I've written here that craving is like a man who is in love with a woman. He can't stop thinking about her. That's how craving is. It just holds you. Okay. It's an intense desire and urge for a specific food or substance. So what causes craving? We'll look at two triggers, two things that cause craving. We'll look at them today. Okay. Now, the first one is your emotions, your mental health, your psychology, your feelings. All those things can contribute to your cravings. And I'll tell you how. Now, supposing you heard some bad news, maybe you were told, oh, you didn't get the job you applied for, you're going to be feeling down. Okay. You're going to be feeling down. Nobody likes to feel down. So you're going to want to go to your go-to food. There are some foods, especially starchy, sugary food, that when you eat, you actually feel happy because the food satisfies you and releases dopamine. Have we heard about dopamine? That food, that your go-to food, it releases dopamine, and dopamine is a hormone that makes you feel good. Do you understand? So something has happened that has affected you. You're feeling unhappy, you're feeling low. Maybe you even had a quarrel with your boss or with your husband or whatever. You're feeling low. So the natural thing is that you want to feel happy. So you eat that food, there's release of dopamine, you feel happy. So dopamine is the same chemical that is released when you win, maybe you win a competition, or you post something on social media and everybody's liking it, like. You feel a rush of dopamine. So you also feel that dopamine when you eat food that is, we call it comfort food, and they're usually sugary, starchy food. And for some people, it can be a cool, chilled can of their favorite fizzy drink. When you drink it, you're like, I've got myself. You've released dopamine. So you have to understand that your emotional health is important, okay? And that could be contributing to you craving food that you shouldn't eat. If this is making sense, just type and say, yes, this is making sense to me. Type, yes, this is making sense. And give this a thumbs up if it's making sense to you, okay? So when we release this dopamine, which is a feel good hormone, it goes to our brain and rewards us. So it's like the food rewards us for eating it. So of course you want to eat it again and again and again, so that your pleasure center is triggered and you feel happier because you were sad. Okay. So when it comes to craving, dopamine is a big driver of that, especially for sugary and high carb foods. Okay. So we need to rewire our brain, and it starts with us managing our emotions, our mental health, so that we don't get to a state where we then need dopamine to pull us out of our unhappiness. When you're unhappy, you eat differently. We know that this is science, okay? It's going to make you crave unhealthy food. Okay, so the other thing is, so we've talked about your emotions, your feelings, your emotional health, and how it leads to cravings, because you're craving dopamine to comfort you, to make you feel better. Okay, now the other thing is your blood sugar roller coaster. This one is a huge one, and I really need you to understand it, honestly. Remember, we're talking about cravings, and we're saying that you cannot get on top of your health or your weight if you're always having cravings, because when the cravings come, you can't even stop them. You know yourself, it just takes hold of you. So the first thing is to look at the things that trigger you to eat those sort of rubbish food, okay, and manage them. Now, so the other thing I said, blood sugar roller coaster. When your blood sugar drops, your body signals a need for quick energy. There are times when you feel shaky. You feel, I have to eat. My body is not, some people say they feel shaky, they have to eat. And then when they eat, they feel relaxed. Okay, so what's happening is maybe you've eaten and you ate something that was starchy, something that was sugary. It causes a blood sugar spike, okay, in your system. But I told you last week that high blood sugar is not good for the body. So God has put in mechanism to make sure that sugar is brought down by releasing insulin. Now, if that blood sugar is brought down, you're going to feel hungry again. Ideally, if you have a proper meal, it should keep you it should make you feel full for at least 4 hours. So if you eat something and within 4 hours you're hungry again, it means you didn't eat the right thing. Okay, you're going to have cravings, you're going to feel hungry, you're going to want to touch something, eat something. Okay, so a meal that contains sweet and starchy food gives us pleasure. It gives you pleasure. There will be dopamine release. You'll feel good. But it's not the best way to get energy. Okay? It leads to a glucose spike, which makes you tired. There are foods you eat and you just want to go and sleep. Your body is just, you've flooded your body with sugar. You've given your mitochondria, your powerhouse, work to do. It burns them out. You go and you feel tired. So even though you feel happy you've eaten it, dopamine has been released, but there's so much blood sugar that is actually harmful to your body. Okay. So you should eat meals that will keep you full for at least 4 hours. So you're not peckish, you're not feeling you need to eat something. Okay. And when you're that way, when you've eaten properly, You will see meat pie, you will see muffins, you won't even want to take. You will feel actual full. You won't need to take anything. Remember, it's about knowledge, isn't it? If you understand, okay, this is what happens. Oh, no wonder there are people that say they are not even hungry. They just eat one meal and they're fine. And you're wondering, me, I've eaten three, 4 meals. I'm still hungry. It's because you're eating the wrong thing. But they've eaten differently. They've eaten what will keep their blood sugar stable. Okay, so we don't want a blood sugar roller coaster. You eat, it goes up, it crashes down, you're hungry again, it goes up, and you know, it's very damaging to the body. Okay, so I'll give us one simple tip. I don't know if you've heard about apple cider vinegar. Has anybody heard about that? Apple cider vinegar? Type into the chat if you've come across that. It's an old treatment for, okay, someone say, Debbie says, true, I didn't know this can happen to me. I'm full and okay and don't have reason to want more. Exactly. You don't have any reason to want more because you've had a big meal, but you're still wanting, in a few couple of hours, you're hungry again. It's because of what you ate last. Okay, so we need to deal with that. So, one thing you can do before your meals is to get some apple cider vinegar, put a spoonful into a cup of water, and drink the whole water. Okay. Now, this apple cider vinegar, which can be any vinegar, okay, it doesn't have to be anything special. It um actually inactivates or stops the activity of amylase. Amylase is a hormone that breaks down your carbohydrates into sugars. Okay, it breaks down your carbohydrates into sugars. So apple cider vinegar stops that breakdown so that the breakdown is slower and you don't have sugar flooding into your system. So if you drink it 20 minutes before your meal, you have less absorption of the sugar in your meal. Okay, if you eat a starchy food, maybe some gari with a bowl of soup, the gari will not be as absorbed as it should have been, which is better for you. Okay, so please try that, and you might find that that reduces your cravings because your blood sugar won't just go high. The apple cider vinegar will make sure the blood sugar is gentle, and that's better for you and reduces craving. Okay, now, let's go to the meal itself. So the vinegar is taken before the meal. Now, for the meal itself, to craft a meal that will keep you full for 4 hours, that will stop your craving, and this is what I do. I'm telling you, I can have that meal and I can be surrounded by sweets and biscuits and not feel like eating them because I won't have the craving. You understand? So, how do you start? Number one, think of fiber. You have to have some vegetable to start with. Okay, always start your meal with veggies. Okay, so that can be steamed veg, stir fry, but make sure it's like half of your plate. Fill your plate with your vegetables. So whether it's okra or ugu or greens, whatever sort of vegetable you're having, have a lot of it. Fill at least half of the plate with it. We're not talking about vegetable you go and sprinkle in small. It needs to be the main part of the meal, the veg. Okay, so whatever veg you're using, whether you're using carrots or peas or any sort of spinach, whatever leaves you're using, use a lot of it. Okay. Now, when you start your meal with vegetables, the vegetables go and coat your tummy, and it means that the whatever you're eating next will not be quickly absorbed. If you take a muffin on empty tummy, the sugar in the muffin is just going to go straight into your bloodstream. It just dives straight. You take white bread on empty tummy, straight into your bloodstream. All those starchy foods, you take them first, it's going straight into your bloodstream. So you're going to have a sugar spike, which will come dropping bam like that, and then you'll be hungry again. But if you start with the veggies, you've prepared the ground. It's like a sieve. You've put a sieve in your tummy so that whatever is coming next is slowly absorbed. If you're going to have a muffin, have your veggies first before you have the muffin, if you have to have that. Okay, so you have your vegetables, and then next is your protein. Think about protein. So your fiber, your vegetables, protein next. So your protein can be your eggs. Eggs are great. Okay. Fish, meat. It can be Greek yogurt. Greek yogurt is protein. It can be tofu. For those who like soya milk, soya bean kind of thing. Tofu is a kind of cheese made from soya milk. Okay. It can be something some people use protein powder, can use nuts. Nuts are good. Some nuts have good protein too. Nuts butter. All those sort of things would help along with the fiber to slow down the absorption of food from your tummy. Is that quick absorption that means that you get hungry again? You understand? Is this making sense? Okay. Yes. So Fortuge says, yes, I have gift. Yes, I've had it. Okay, I guess it's apple cider vinegar you're talking about. Okay, and you're asking how much should I drink? And you said, does it help with digestion? Yes. So you just need a tablespoon inside a glass of water. Okay, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar inside your glass of water, and drink it 20 minutes before a food, especially a food that contains starchy nutrients, starch or a lot of carbohydrates, and it will reduce the absorption of the carbohydrates. Okay, right. So we've talked about your veggies first, your protein, and then make sure you have some fats. Fat is good. Okay, some healthy fat. Fats like your from your egg. Egg is protein and also fat. Okay, and you can scramble that in olive oil. You can add slices of avocado. Avocado is very good fat. Okay, so you can use avocado as part of your meal. You can use other fats are things like almond, chia seed. Do we know chia seed? Very good sauce. You can use that too, or flaxseed. Even just for breakfast, you have some yogurts, yeah, some Greek yogurt, and then pour in some chia seed, mix it, and take. That's better for your health than bread and tea. Debbie says, okay, it's a tablespoon of, yes, as apple cider vinegar into a glass of water, taking 20 minutes before meal. You got that. Perfect. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed how much better you will feel with your meal. Okay. Now, so after you've done your veggies, your protein, your fats, and now you can have carbs, carbohydrates, something starchy. That is optional. Okay. If you're trying to lose weight, then you have to cut down on starchy food. But if you're not particularly losing weight, at that point, you can then add on your carbs. Okay. After you're sure you've filled yourself with vegetables. So even if you went to a restaurant, you enter a restaurant, you know, these restaurant people, they will serve you something sweet. They want the blood sugar to go in very, very fast so that before you leave the restaurant, you've crashed again. You want to even eat, you'll be ready for desserts. But if you arrive and ask for a vegetable dish first, you can talk yourself full of vegetables. Every other thing can come later. Yeah, you will find that when you leave that restaurant, you actually feel full for a longer time, and you're going to eat less, and you won't have cravings. Okay, so we've talked about the carbs. For those trying to lose weight, you cannot be eating heaps of carbs. You have to cut down your intake. There's just no other way. There's no magic way. If you're trying to lose weight, focus on your veggies, your protein, your fat, carbohydrate and starches at the end if you must, and just little amounts. Okay. Then your drinks, herbal tea. Try and drink. There are really some nice teas out there. There's lemon tea. Don't feel that when I think from our backgrounds, when you say tea, everybody's thinking about Milo and chocolates and those sort of drinks. No, you can have a herbal tea. You can have some ginger tea. Okay, you can have chamomile tea. Try and invest in teas. Go into the shop, look for different teas, try them. Sometimes it takes a while to get used to them, but they're actually very good for your digestion, and they contain antioxidants that are really good for health. Okay, so when you think about drink, don't think you have to drink a chocolate drink. Don't think you have to drink a fizzy drink. So look into herbal teas. I'm sure you find some that you like. Okay. So avoid anything sugary and watch your cravings disappear. Your cravings are there simply because you're eating the wrong thing. Okay. I had, what did I have today? I had some veggies. I started with my veggies. I ate around 9:30. I got to work 9:30. Ate some veggies and fish. I had fish. I had egg, and then I had a little quinoa. Quinoa is a grain, just a small amount. And honestly, because of the sequence in which I ate it, I ate my veggies first, my fish and my egg, and then this quinoa. I was not hungry till I came back home. I'm telling you, I didn't even think about food. I was so full. You're peckish, you're taking things, you're nibbling here and there because you're eating the wrong things and you're having cravings. Okay. Once you change things around, you find that you can go long periods, your tummy is nice and full, your blood sugar is gently, the vegetables are making sure that your blood sugar is nice and easy. You have your things are stable for you. Okay. And it's so good. I mentioned last week that when you're having high sugar peaks, you're having high insulin, and high insulin is not good for the body. So once you can stabilize your blood sugar, you're going to have insulin levels that are nice and gentle. Your acne will clear up. For a lot of people, your acne is just from the high insulin. You're setting up a lot of inflammation in your system. So try what I've said. Go into more fiber, more vegetables, more protein, less of the starchy, sugary stuff. Your skin will clear up. Okay. Your body, even those I've seen people who have infertility, problems with getting pregnant, they get pregnant because that high insulin, when you have a high blood sugar, high insulin, it's actually sending a message to your ovaries and causing your ovaries to release more testosterone, which is the male hormone. And you don't want the male hormone. And that's stopping you from getting pregnant. So by reorganizing things, eating better, keeping your blood sugar more on a stable level, the ovulation will just happen. People just take in. Okay, a lot of it. That's why I keep hammering on your weight, your weight, your weight. Honestly, if you get it right, a lot of illnesses just fly away. So that's the important thing. Okay, so aim to keep your blood sugar steady at all times. So your aim should always be, whatever I'm eating, I need to start with a veg. What veg can I have first before I start putting all these other things into my body? The veg is important. The fiber, it will help keep things nice. Now, if you want something sugary, you can have a fruit. Okay, if you're feeling, oh, I need something sugary, something sweet, have an apple, have a fruit, but have the whole fruit. Don't go and juice it. Don't juice your fruits. If you juice your fruits, you're harming your body. You're pouring a whole load of sugar into your system. Not good idea at all. Okay. If you're feeling like something tasty, have some strawberries, have some, an apple, a banana, whatever else, but have it at the end of your meal. So have it at the end so that the sugar effect from the fruit will be nice and gentle because you're already filled up with vegetables. Okay. So the good thing is that once you start eating right, you will feel the changes immediately. I'm telling you, you will feel the changes. Some people have migraine, and it can be because of the high sugar peaks you're having. You have high sugar peaks, and then the peaks drop down, and you're having headaches. If you change your meal and stabilize your blood sugar, you'll be surprised that you won't be having headaches. Okay, so a lot of things are based on what you're putting into your mouth. Okay, so when sometimes people say to me, I've tried everything. My patients, oh my God, they'll say, I've tried everything. I've tried everything. I've done this. I'm exercising. I'm like, okay, tell me what you ate today. And then the person will say, I've only had one can of cocoa. I've not eaten anything else today. I'm like, but the very thing you've eaten is the wrong thing. You understand? So it's not about your eating small. Why would you eat small amounts of poison? Just let go of the poison. So when people say they've tried everything, I'm like, tell me, write a diary of your meal. I want to see what you've been eating. And oftentimes we find out that they are not eating the right thing. Okay, if you wake up in the morning and your breakfast is something that contains sugar and starch, you've set yourself up for failure that day. Your blood sugar is going to just go up and down like a roller coaster. And your mental health, your physical health, everything else will follow it and be doing like this. You know, if you're prone to mental health problems, you're very emotional. 1 minute you're crying, 1 minute you'll feel like you're bipolar. Sometimes it's the blood sugar spikes that are going up and down. Start with changing your meal. Okay, start your morning with a savory breakfast. That means a breakfast that does not contain sugar or starch. Okay, start your morning right. If you can just focus on not eating something sugary or starchy in breakfast, things work better for you. Okay, it's just that we'll become used to breakfast is bread and tea, breakfast is bread and tea or cereal. But those things just contain starch and sugars. They're not good for your health. Don't start with them. If you must have them, always start with your veggie starters first. Okay, and then your protein before you ever go to anything starchy. I used to be a proponent of have oats and banana. But now we are finding out that unless it's really the good oats, those instant oats, you have your instant oats, you put banana in it. That's just sugar. You've just had a plate of sugar. No wonder in 2 hours' time you're feeling hungry again because the plate of sugar gives you a massive high, and then insulin brings it all right back down, and then you're hungry again. Okay, right. So I'm going to take questions. If you have any questions, please let me know and I shall address them. So, Gift, you said you're going to buy apple cider vinegar tomorrow. Yes, you can do that. Remember, it actually contains it's acidic. So try and drink it with a straw. We don't want the acid touching your teeth. Okay. So remember, 1 spoon into a full cup of water. Use a straw and drink it up. Okay. 20 minutes before meals, and it will reduce the blood sugar spike you're having from your meal. Okay. Any other questions? What savory breakfast could you recommend? Okay, that's a good question. Like I've said, try to avoid sugars and starches in your breakfast. Avoid a sugary breakfast. So focus on a savory breakfast. So your savory breakfast could be some eggs, okay? Some eggs, some veg, some chicken, that sort of. It can even be the leftover food from the night before. Who said that breakfast must be bread and tea or cereal? Just make it a meal, a proper meal. Okay. If the idea of eating vegetables early in the morning is strange to you, then you can shift your breakfast. Just means the first meal you eat, that breaks the first meal you eat. Okay, it doesn't mean it must be eaten in the morning. So if you're okay in the morning, you can shift your breakfast to lunchtime. So you actually have a proper meal that will contain veggies. Okay. But savory breakfast, yeah, things that have to do with your veggies, your protein. So the savory breakfast is normally centered around a source of protein. It can be yogurt, can be Greek yogurt, okay, with some chia seed in it, some berries in it. That is a savory breakfast, okay? While a sweet breakfast is something that has maybe like bread and tea or breakfast cereal. Those are sweet breakfasts, not good at all. Okay, so you said what foods are good for digestion. Okay, so that varies from person to person, isn't it? But as a general rule of thumb, you need your veggies, you need your protein, you need your good fats. Okay, and then some carbohydrates, some sugars, always at the end, always at the tail end. Okay, and you have to try what suits you. We've been talking about veggies, but not everybody likes every kind of veg. Some people just prefer the leafy greens, the leafy greens, and that's fine. They can focus on that. Some people prefer non-leafy things like your broccoli, that's fine. Whatever it is, focus on, find what you like. Go and research. Let's not be lazy about our health. I told you that the game changer is the knowledge you gain. The people that are doing it is because they've learned something that you don't know. You understand? So you research, experiment on your health. Okay. So Debbie says, what do you think about overnight oats? What type of oats should we get? Okay. So a lot of debate around oats now. In fact, someone said that oats is like even the oats milk. You know, there's oat milk now. It's meant to be healthy, but actually, it's like liquid starch. It's like you're drinking liquid starch. So if you're buying oats, make sure the oats is unrefined. Okay, let it not the instant oats. Find the rolled unrefined oats because that one is better. It has more fiber and it doesn't lead to this glucose spikes we're talking about. And if you're having oats, don't put sugar in it. If you put sugar, then you've made it a sugary meal. We're trying to avoid a sweet, sugary breakfast. Okay, so night oats are good. If you get the good oats, you put it, can mix it with some milk, soy milk, or whatever milk you want, and can put some nut butter. If you like almond butter, you can put to sweeten it, to flavor it. You know, some people put chia seed in it. Chia seed is really nice. It thickens the if you put chia seed in milk, it makes it like porridge kind of feel. Some people like that. And that's a good meal, you know. Okay, so my emphasis today was really on asking about your why. You have to have a strong why. What is your strong why? Because that's what will help you take note of your health and do the things you need to do. We'll talk some more later about exercise and so on, but I need you being mindful about what you're putting in your mouth. I need you starting with your vegetables, your salads, okay, beef, and then your protein, and then your fat, some healthy fat, before ever I came home today and my daughter had fried some chips, and they were on the table. My instinct was to pick up, but I'm like, I need to have my vegetables first. I don't want to start with something starchy and sugary because once I do that, I've already started the wrong way. Okay, so always have your starches and sugar at the end of your meal. Always at the end. Always start with your vegetables. If you go for a party, they're serving food, go and get a big, massive plate of vegetables before you eat any other thing. You'll be surprised that you won't have any cravings. You'll be fine. Okay, so I'll stop so far unless we have any questions. We'll keep doing these classes. I'm collecting the questions. There were questions people asked from the last class. I want to bring them all out so we can answer them. I did try to answer them in the last class. We'll continue to do that. So next week, we'll be looking at some more around our meals. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Okay, I'll be grateful if you subscribe and share the channel. Yeah, there are lots of other videos there. This is a passion. Sometimes I'm like, oh, what? How? I really need people to understand. I don't want to have to see people when they now have a cancer. That's what I deal with all the time. When it's already at the late stage. So I'm saying to people now, if you have good health, maintain that good health. Keep well. Eat mindfully. Okay, and hopefully that will keep us going. So I'll see you next week. Okay, and Gift says this was so good. Thank you, I've learned so much. That's good. Thank you everyone for joining, and those who missed it, please send them the video so they can rewatch it. Okay, the sequence in which you eat makes a whole lot of difference to your blood sugar. Okay, and stable blood sugar is the best thing for health. Never ever eat something that is just sugary because you're causing damage to your health with sugar spikes. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely evening wherever you are. See you again soon. Bye.